This is Tina from Cosmic Turtles. Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to say thank you to all our supporters and all the new subscribers. I really appreciate your comments, your support, your donations, and let's get into your reading. So tonight, well, for me it's tonight. By the time you look at it, it'll be daytime. Maybe, whenever you get to it. These readings are timeless. So let's get into a reading for the collective here and see what's going on. If you like it and it resonates, that's great. If you don't, if you feel it doesn't resonate at all, you're going to look at the other readings. Maybe look at the titles, see if it resonates. If not, have fun throwing it out the window. Just make sure your window's open. You don't want to break it, right? Okay, let's see what we got. Ooh, one fell already. All right. Yoo-hoo. Ace of Cups. We start with Ace Cups. Ace of Cups. Look at that. This is coming to some of you. It's like an offer of love or an offer of friendship, an offer of abundance from the divine. Ultimate feeling of love. Your cup being filled. It could be just the divine filling you. Like, let's say you were really exhausted, or you came out of a really feeling of lack and just down and out, right? Like, because it's been happening. I mean, it's part of the ascension symptoms too. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you feel so refreshed and you feel so full of energy, and you're like, what happened? I felt like for weeks I felt like down and out and everything, and now I feel like great. Like, you're almost suspicious about it. You almost like don't want to believe it. Take it. It's yours. Really, take it. And so this is what's coming for you. This is the first card. It's a great start. It's just awesome. And it's specifically for those that are coming out of a situation where it was getting really heavy. The low self-esteem, no confidence, feeling triggered for all kinds of things, and you know intellectually these triggers are like, they're nothing, but they bothered you. They just did. They pet peeves, you know. So this is like the divine saying, it's okay. We're here. Let us remove that. You've been doing so good at trying to keep yourself together through this experience, and we're just gonna, fill your cup a little and help you out. All right, universe got your back. If you ask, you will receive. So in the midst of going through a hard time, that's it doesn't mean you always have to get into, okay, this is where my experience kind of went airy for a while. I noticed that if I went lower, the divine would just pick me up and I feel higher than I've ever been. Like situations, people, opportunities, I was like, the kid that learns that if he whines and whines, he'll get everything he wants. Like it's the inner child human behavior that picks up on a certain pattern, and then it says, hey, well, if it works, I keep using it, even if it's not healthy for you. So those are the ones I'm talking about. Like, and well, the universe kind of said, look, Tina, don't put yourself so low that you can't even get up on your own there. So I had to eat another piece of humble pie. I think by that time it was the whole pie of humbleness, and kind of like, yeah, I do know better. So let's start a system of doing self-maintenance, putting it into my everyday life as something that's practical, that doesn't take much time, that just I could just slip it in there and it's not overwhelming me, and it's just allowing me to have more ease and keep a stable balance. So I stopped self-sabotaging, because that's what I was doing. And until once I realized it and I did again, I still went to the self. That's when the universe said, "Oh no," and I was like, "Oh, okay," because I was lining up to getting sick again. I was lining up to just losing everything I've built up so far, and I'd have to start all over again. Look, I said, okay, no. And I realized that too at the same time. It was pretty much the self-realization, the imagery, the feelings, and everything came at once, and it was like, oh boys, yeah, I really have to get self-disciplined, self-organized, do this nurturing part for myself to really, because that all comes into play. Okay, it all comes into play, but you're learning one aspect at a time until you have a full beautiful circle going around you and you feel sustained because you put your work in it. Okay, because you did it, so you appreciate it more. You appreciate it way more than if you're always getting other people to do it for you. I mean, if you have the capability of doing it, then do it. If it's your self-care, if it's certain works, if it's your exercise, if it's self-encouragement, if it's your self-confidence, if it's bringing your mood up or soothing your triggers down, that is your own job to do. It's nobody else's. You can't put it on someone else. I mean, you can, it'll work for a while, but after a while, you'll have a lot of people leaving you, and you'll wonder why you're always alone. Next card is saying be careful of those things, because it's the moon card. Which side of you is actually operating this engineering called you, this human? Who's actually running it? Your ego or your higher self? Your higher self, well, your consciousness, your awareness of your essence. Who's running you? Who's actually in charge there inside of there? You got to set the law within. You got to be that self-discipline. Okay? And you're the one that does the job. Nobody else does it for you. That includes people learning spiritual insights. Yes, you can learn from many peoples, but all those people are helping they're sharing what they discovered as a spiritual insight, which helps with our own awareness, and maybe it was a key to open you up so that you could pull out your own and then share those. You see how it works? It's not about taking what they got and repeating it and making it like it's your story. It's not. Your spiritual insights will come from your own life experience and the themes that you chose to have in your life. It's not about taking what belongs to another. I've seen it in the spiritual circles. There's people that had shared their own story, their deep emotional stories and the challenges they went through. And I have heard them. And then years later, I see someone younger than that other person, and they're saying the same story. Detail. And I'm like, well, okay, but too much the same. So it's like, is that your story? Yes, it happened to me. You know, those people that can repeat something to themselves so much they also believe it? We do that. Everybody has the capacity of believing something happened a certain way, and that's not how it happened. It's just how you recorded it. But in this case, the person had to repeat it word for word, every little detail, the same as the other one. It's like, and I heard that story before, but it wasn't you saying it. The look on their face, they knew. And they knew that I knew. And then they didn't want to hang around with me. They kept hanging around to everybody else that gave them free praise. or pity, or whatever it was. They took someone else's story, made it their own, so they could have their 15 minutes of fame type of thing. You got to be able to pull your own insights from inside. Yes, there's similar stories, but they won't be exactly the same, because each person is unique. The words we all use like it's, let's say, per language, right? And the form of expression, and it depends per culture, or even per dialect, or per village, or so yes, you'll have similar expressions, but you can feel if something's is authentic, especially if you're sensitive, especially if you're an empath, medium, psychic, sensitive. You'll feel it. So, for now, people will continue, some will continue doing that. Others will be looking inside themselves and making the decision on what they want to do, and they'll actually gain access because they did the work, the internal work. The moon card is associated with your emotions, your feelings, your internal side. So this cup of love is like a relief from the divine, and it's allowing you to be able to go deeper inside, not be afraid, and to see that your internal, your own inspiring insights coming out. And that'll give you the key to your own inner world. You'll have infinite wisdom coming from your specific perspective, the reason why you were created, you, that specific spark. And you'll gain true recognition because you're being authentic. Because those that built on somebody else's foundation, they will not stand. The energies of Aquarius are versatile, they're beautiful, they're many, it's just amazing. But if you're not aligning to those energies, it will literally feel like hell to you. So in the meanwhile, for those of you that are doing the work, continue doing the work. The Eight of Pentacles is hard at work because you're realizing the juice is worth the squeeze. And that expression I did get from another reader because I really liked it. And I said, I like that expression. I said, I like the way he said it, and I like the way it represents the card in a good way. And I said, I'll incorporate that in my speech because I'm seeking different ways of expressing, and I really like that. But I'm not going to do readings like he does. He doesn't do 5 cards. He does like lines, 3 lines of 4 cards, and he does that way and that way. I've done those, but I like the 5 card one. So I don't do it exactly. I'm taking an aspect that he shared, and he actually shares it in his tarot card courses. So I'm not taking, he freely gave, so I received it, and I incorporated it. There's a difference. So right now, this is the middle cards where you're at right now. You're hard at work. You see that the juice is worth the squeeze. You're working on the next thing that is of value to you, and you're encouraged. You're really encouraged. And it's cool. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfecting what it is that you're already doing, because you got some new insight that came in, you unlocked something, so now you're going over the lines that were maybe more faded, and now you're doing it, you're advancing with more assurance on your development, on your well-being. So you're more self-assured. So congratulations to you. For those of you that chose this collective read. Alright, woo, what else we got? Oh, look at that, we're going backtracking. You're going back on things. You're watching your garden grow. You're hard at work, but you're also looking at other things. Seeing what else do I want to perfect? What else would I like to do? What would I like to do next? Because 7 is the number of the unknown. And you're thinking like, okay, I'm working on this, but I also have time to think about, like for some people it'll be like on the 3D, maybe taking a course, advancing their education, because that is of value to them. For others is maybe investing, because they'd like to see their money grow if it has to do with finances. For other people it's about doing an internal assessment on, okay, what limiting beliefs do I have? And which ones do I want to get rid of? Or which ones do I want to tweak and be able to have a more expanded belief? Allow expansion. Or what can I do to improve myself, basically? Because these are the things you've built in your internal garden, and that you want to be able to, like which seed at this moment, which one of these needs a little bit more sunlight or a little bit more water, or what nourishment do I need right now to be able to continue in the right way, so that I don't fall back in my old, what can I do, what can I build strength on that'll allow me to keep going forward and prevent me from falling back in my self-sabotaging patterns that I used to have, or that I just recently overcame. How can I create a certain, what kind of boundaries can I set up for myself? That's something of value too. One of your values, one of your coins is things you hold of value. So one of these could be healthy boundaries. And that includes boundaries towards yourself. In a healthy way. So it's like the sequence of the cards. We'll get some clarifiers on these. The sequence of the cards is like you got a Ace of Cups, the Moon, 8 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles. It's like higher vibration, still trying to decide what vibration you're going into. Higher vibration, still trying to decide what you're going to work on. So it's like there's a flow. There's a flow to this reading so far. Excuse me, I just got hiccups. So, speaking of, that's probably relevant. You may feel like you're working hard at something, right? You're working hard at something. You see the juice is worth the squeeze, but then you're encountering a hiccup and you think that you have to go back and look at things. Don't worry so much. It's probably a test. Still take an overview, but a detached overview, because you already built all these things. These seeds, they're already planted. You don't have to replant them. Because if you plant something that's already been replanted, if you replant something that's already been planted, that means you're going to plant it even deeper, and then it'll suffocate, won't have a chance to grow. Something like that. It's the imagery I got in my head. So use your sense about yourself. It's probably an opportunity to use your creativity, your discernment, look at things in a detached way. Don't get stuck in your emotions. This is Pentacles. Pentacles has to do with earth signs. Earth signs are more grounded. Has to do with the earth element. So it's saying, while you're making a decision here, if you do feel like there's a hiccup or it feels that way, that's just like a residual feeling that comes up to the surface to test to see if you'll release the emotion, the feeling itself, and then get grounded. Ground that energy to see what it is for real, okay? And you'll have more clarity. Right? And when you do that, when you do discover, like, oh my goodness, it was just a test, and you pass it, you'll feel like, yay, I did it. What's the next card for the collective? You'll feel empowered, like the Empress. Because you'll be like, what else can I do? And you get all creative, inspired. Ooh, okay, what do we got? Woohoo! See, use your intuition. So use your intuition. Exactly what I was saying. When that comes out, that hiccup, oddly it stopped. It was just to send the message. Okay, I never had the actual physical sensation, although other readers have the good ones that I find are good and they're spot on and they really pick up on things. They actually have like the physical manifestation, or it comes out or something, and it has to do with the reading, but it's up to the reader to recognize these things. And it appears to other people in their eyes that you are going nuts, and well, maybe I am. So use your intuition. When you feel there's a hiccup and all that, use your intuition. Really feel it out to see, is this just a test, or is this really something I got to look at? And do it with detachment and have that trust, that confidence within you. You'll see your own truth, because you're allowed to see your own truth, right? This is gonna bring the best. It's gonna build up that sense of self-value. Like you're gonna be like amazed. It's test it out for, see it out, okay? If these are timeless, and for some people that have asked, like, what's the time frame on that? Is like in the next 2 weeks? Is it like, and I said 30 days. Okay, I saw 30, so 30, the next 30 days, so full cycle. I suppose it does make sense, a full cycle for all this to integrate and actually manifest. And so come back in 30 days if you like, and then see this reading again and see how much of it made sense. There may be some things you're seeing right now as well. So we're going to pull this down, and then we're going to put clarifiers on all these, and it might change the story or it might reinforce the message. So it depends, because there's a lot of people watching, different groups in the collective at different stages, but we're all doing it in different groups. But the groups are interlinked. Like, one is going through this cycle, the other one is doing this cycle, the other one is, you see what I mean? It's all like interlinked, and it's like sometimes a week to 2 weeks difference on when they're starting the similar patterns of a cycle, or so it's getting closer and closer. Before, and I noticed, and it happened fast, the sequence of time, I could see it. It used to take like a year or two. You could kind of sense someone is like 2 years behind on that specific lesson. Yet the energies were available then, but maybe they didn't have all these other things lined up to be able to capture it and start that, or they had other things that was blocking them to start this cycle. There's so many aspects in a human dynamic to be able to advance and evolve, and everyone wants everything like that. No, you don't. That's when you will not only appear crazy, but you will go crazy. So gradual is good. It gives you time. That's why time is part of our reality, so you can do the integration process. It may feel painful, but it's really the avoidance of pain that creates more pain, that turns into suffering. That's the trap. So don't be afraid. You know, every time you hear that, don't be afraid. But not in a sense they're trying to manipulate you or guilt trip you. Don't be afraid, just do it. No, okay, not those kinds. I mean the real don't be afraid feeling. The real, because we're sensitive beings, you know. Whether we numbed ourselves up, we were sensitive to become numb in the first place. We were really sensitive, and we tried to protect that. So, trust yourself. Okay, let's get some clarifiers on this reading. So, let's go check it out. I hope you can all see it good. I'll just move some over. Alright, let's see what we got. So we started with the Ace of Cups, then we went to the Moon, Eight of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, the Hiccup, and then a High Priestess. The Hiccup, but it's the review, and then use your intuition on what it is that you need to do next. So let's get a clarifier on the Ace of Cups here. Ace of Cups was like a relief given to you by the divine. A relief from stagnation, a relief from heavy energies, a relief from feelings of feeling less than, a relief from being stuck in the victim dynamic. Oh, look at that. A relief from the outside world. We have the Two of Swords here. See, she's blindfolded. She's has swords. And it's a really she's taking a step back from the 3D matrix. And she's going inside. And at first it felt like chaos. But the universe came and offered some relief on her inside world. And now, oops,